Hi everyone. First of all, I want to tell you that I'm very impressed. Even those of you who have less experience are really engaged in the workshop and are really contributing by giving very relevant ideas or references. So it's really wonderful. I hope we'll continue like that until the end. So congrats once again. So let's go directly to module 2, if we may. So it's called Developing an MYP Unit, and you'll see I want to just guide you through it to help you. So once again, there are the module notes. There are information there that explains what is expected from the IB. So that is really important to see. And then we have the learning engagement activities. So you'll see that there is no longer learning engagement 2. Actually, there is one, but we are publishing everything together like in the third one. Okay, so in learning engagement 3, it's like posting everything that you've thought through for engagement 2 and 3. So let's go to the Global Issues Forum. This is just one way, because when we are planning, we are doing some research on what's happening in the world. So we have looked over international mindedness in the first module. So now what I would say is that we have like one website here which is available, and there are many more, of course. And the idea is to try to pick up like some story, something that is written there that you could use as a starting point for a project eventually. So if I click on Global Issues Forums, once again I give some details. There is one idea which I have planned, and you'll see that whether that be a photo gallery or a video, a short video, or an article, there's something to introduce the subject, which is often a good starting point in a project. So here we are. What I've chosen is something with a lot of statistics. I've actually done a project where we were sensitizing our students, well, the students in our school, to save water, so not to waste water actually. And we were doing posters actually. The students were doing posters actually, and they did a mathematical study, a survey among the students in order to know their habits, and then they designed actually posters in order to sensitize other students in the school. And we are going to put these posters on the walls, well, some of these, for next year. So that was like the main issue that I've chosen actually. This was actually an interdisciplinary project that we've done. So here, what you do is you just go through the website, try to choose a story, any story actually that you feel of interest, and you try to just consider global issues that can be related to that story. So that's basically it. And I ask you to comment on one of the others, the idea of reading what the others have done, and you've done that magnificently well in the first module. So some of you have already started here, so that's the idea. Once again, if you want the link to work here, had an example. Of course, I can like select it, press on the right button, and then open it. But else, when you go in the advanced, actually, if you go in the advanced option, when we do reply and we click on advanced, once again, there is like the tool in order to just create an hyperlink. Okay, so that's something that you want to do if you want to simplify like navigation for others. So that is for the first engagement activity. Now, what I will say is that you can choose some other issue, because here you are thinking about something that you want to develop for the next 3 weeks. So if you think that global issues is not like interesting, that you don't want to address it in your unit plan, then choose something else. So I don't mind what issue you will choose. The idea being of thinking, okay, this was just to do a kind of brainstorm. So you choose an issue, and then we are going toward creating a statement of inquiry. But before that, there are two things. If I click on it, once again, I'll click on my initial post. First thing is to choose one key concept and two related concepts. These are on different pages in the mathematics guide. So what I've done is that I've given you here as attachment the mathematics concept. I just did screenshots of it, and here it is actually. So that's basically what I do with my teachers at school. I have all these key concepts and the definitions of the related concepts, and that helps me choose those who are relevant with this topic that I am going to choose for my unit plan. So that's something that we want to do. And what do we do with these concepts? We create a conceptual understanding. That is not mandatory actually. In the unit plan, it's just like a step, like when we were saying that we were going sometimes step by step toward a statement of inquiry. So what is a conceptual understanding? I just can show it to you here. The idea is to merge the key and related concepts together into one conceptual understanding. There is no topic actually here. It's only like pretty much like the how or why, like what are we supposed to understand. Donc, so this is the idea. So merging the two gives the conceptual understanding, but that's not enough. Actually, as I've said, it is a step which we can do, but it's not mandatory to write it actually in the unit plan. Then, what do we have? We have, so the key concept, choose one, normally. Related concepts, normally it's one or two. We build the conceptual understanding in order, and we also choose a global context exploration. So what are these? So you'll see that in there are ideas in mathematics guide, but in the MYP from principles into practice, we also have here like global context, and there's a description, and then explorations. So what we want to do is it's not to focus on the global context, because it's like underlying. We want to, in one task, in one unit, we want to choose an exploration of the global context that we're going to study. And it can be a combination of words. We can combine two explorations into formulating one new one. But this is the idea. So if I am talking about self-esteem, I would choose that. Okay, we don't have to choose. And when there is like you don't have to choose the whole dot. You can just use one part of it. Okay, so that's the idea here. So if we would consider health and well-being and or lifestyle choices in a statistical study, we could use that exploration. So you understand that we have within a global context choose an exploration or two, something that we are going to be exploring through the unit plan. So what else then? So with the key concept and the related concepts that we might have like merge in the conceptual understanding, and we add the global context exploration, and all of that together builds a statement of inquiry. Of course, at that point, I might go look a little bit further, because sometimes I don't even know what you're talking about. But there are always time to change. Okay, what I want to remind you is that if ever during the process you decide to change like the topic or the exploration, you can. At the end, you just put you will just post your updated unit plan. So if I go here now, I want to go in not this one. I'm sorry. I want to talk about the statement of inquiry. Actually, I'm going to look it up here. So the idea here, that's interesting, but that's not what I want to see. It's here. So, well, actually, the key concept and the related concepts altogether gives a conceptual understanding. If we add the global context exploration, then it builds the statement of inquiry. What I want to remind you is that tell you is it is not related to your topic yet. It has to be something which is pretty general in order for any other subject to be able to consider that same statement of inquiry and want to inquiry it. So if we were going to talk about the well-being and to see how the representation of the relationships has impacts on our health and well-being, then the physical education teacher might consider having that same statement of inquiry and doing an interdisciplinary activity or project with you. So that's the main idea. We want to foster interdisciplinary projects. So at that point, we let it without the topic. So you'll see that I'll comment a lot on that during the next week. Going back here, once it's and all of the global context exploration, as I've said, I've put the references in the MYP from Principles into Practice, page 58 to 62. Okay, everything is attached to the post actually. So here you have only to post your unit plan, or you may post your unit plan if you want to fill it already. You can just download the MYP unit planner, which is blank, and then what we are doing actually is like the first page, the key concept, related concepts, global context and global context explorations. We write both, please. The conceptual understanding and the statement of inquiry. So we all about here. This is the learning engagement activities 2 and 3 actually. So that's what we have. So going back to this, what follows in the next 2 learning engagement activities is to consider if what I wanted to say actually is that you can just post your answers here, or you can fill the unit planner, which is blank, and only that part, and to attach it in your reply. And if you do that, once again, you press on the advanced button, which will give you the opportunity to download or drag and drop a file. Okay, so let's go to the learning engagement activity 4. Here, it is to consider how we could have opportunities given with the idea of the unit, and what could we do as service as action, because some unit plans have to, not all of the unit plans, but some, at least one per year, has to have the possibility to be used as service as action, and there are service outcomes that can be achieved through that service. So these are on page 24 of the MYP from Principles into Practice. And here I ask you to reply to 2 participants, but not on the learning engagement 3. If you do, fine, but it's not mandatory. So here, the learning outcomes for service are these 7 dots here. So it might be because you work in a teamwork with the service as action, and you will develop like how to work collaboratively with others. And often it's to develop international mindedness. So here is like one of the idea where it is. So here I'm going to look at the learning engagement 5. So in that learning engagement, we are going to see how your unit plan actually can fit with another subject in order to do interdisciplinary teaching and learning. So there is a new guide, which is that one, which has been published in February 2021. So you can find that guide actually if you go at the home page in the resource library. So you'll have it here, interdisciplinary teaching and learning in the MYP. The other place where you can find all of the documents is in the MyIB. So I'm not going to go through that, but with the authorization of your coordinator, you can access like all of these guides here. So let's go back to the learning engagement activity 5. So everything you want to do, actually, I'm going pretty fast, is to identify a second subject group and to explain why it can be used. So have a nice week!